All right, in this episode, we talk about contralateral tilt
and forward trunk tilt.
All right, Brent Porcio, Stephen Godani here at Top Velocity #PitchingTip Show, where you go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and at Top Velocity #PitchingTip. You ask your question, anything about pitching, anything about Top Velocity, and we answer here on the show. If you haven't done that already, come on, please get out there to Twitter. We've had some great questions. We actually have a lot to get to, but I'm loving it. I'm loving all these questions coming in. Keep them coming in. Share the video. Help us get it out there. Keep this going. Keep learning, and we'll keep going all year. That's our commitment to you. You guys keep this up, and we'll keep this going all year, maybe even longer. All right? All right, so what's the question for today?
El Caballete asks, how do you move from contralateral trunk tilt to forward trunk tilt?
All right, really good question. So it's a good biomechanics question. What is contralateral tilt? First, if I'm here at front foot strike, right, I land at front foot strike, hips should be open, shoulders are closed. Contralateral tilt is tilting to your glove side or away from the arm when you go into shoulder rotation. Ipsilateral tilt would be tilting towards the glove side or the throwing arm side. So we obviously want to be tilted towards the glove side. Why do we want to be tilted towards the glove side? First of all, studies show we get better abduction angles and we get to that better arm slack for high velocity pitchers. High velocity pitchers are typically 90 degrees of shoulder abduction, 10 degrees of contralateral tilt. It's just it's a position on average where typically the highest velocity pitchers get. So anywhere over here is going to be a negative. Plus, you'll be a more sidearm guy. And, we'll talk about why you would be a sidearm guy in another episode. But right now, contralateral tilt's tilting the glove side. We also know the farther you tilt to the glove side, the harder you throw until you get to about 25 degrees. When you get to about 25 degrees, it becomes excessive. Then the speeds don't go up, but the torques on the arms go up. So then it actually is not good for you. So somewhere from, I'd say 10 to 25 degrees is optimal of where we want the trunk to be. Okay, that's just based on science where the highest velocity guys are. But yeah, if I'm stuck here in contralateral tilt of like, say 15 degrees, then I'm gonna go into shoulder rotation, and then I gotta push out into forward trunk tilt, it should be simple as just holding that position, that contralateral tilt in the shoulder rotation, and then the momentum that came off the rubber hitting front foot, that should project you forward into forward trunk tilt. But it does make a good point on understanding that you will more effectively go into forward trunk tilt if you're in contralateral tilt, okay? So look at it this way. If I hit front foot and I'm in ipsilateral tilt, I'm like -5 contralateral or 5 degrees of ipsilateral tilt. When I go into rotation, my axis is off, right? I'm not perfectly vertical, so my axis is off. So that's gonna throw momentum this way, then I'm gonna try to pull around, and now you're not gonna see that momentum coming off your back leg is going to want to be misdirected this way. That's why we'll fall inside. And if I excessively went into contralateral tilt, it might rotate and fly out this way. So you'll actually see more forward trunk tilt. Now, if I do it this way, coming from that really good 15 degrees of tilt, you'll actually see at that point, you're just in a good position to where you're almost in a vertical axis. To where when you hit front foot, when you go into shoulder rotation, it will more easily want to push into forward trunk tilt, okay? Obviously on the vertical plane, you'd think that would be the perfect position of contralateral tilt if I was at 0 degrees for everything to go forward, but here's the problem. When I rotate, I'm gonna have more energy pulling out with my arm, which is gonna wanna take me to the ipsilateral side. So that's why finding 10 degrees to 15 degrees as you go into that shoulder rotation really balances out the center of gravity and will allow you to keep going forward into forward trunk tilt. So more than likely, that's the answer to why the high velocity pitchers are typically 10 to 20 degrees of contralateral tilt, because when they go into shoulder rotation, it keeps them more balanced. So then the forces, the linear forces coming off the rubber can then direct their trunks forward into pitch release. So it adds two components. It adds the rotational component which generates load on the arm, and it adds the linear component in the forward tilt that adds more load on the arm going into pitch release. And those two components together are critical in optimizing ball speed and you getting a big jump in your ball speed. What do you have to say on that?
All right, you nailed it.
Well, wait up, I'll be there. So I nailed it?
Nailed it.
All right, nailed it. That was a good question. So if you have a question, go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, @TopVelocity, #PitchingTips, ask your question, and we're gonna answer it on the next episode. So.
Boys.